welcome to Empower. I'm glad you're together with us today. This is a program that focuses on people and workplace. My name is Beatrice Chuchu. And last week, we were looking at staff retention or employee retention. And today, we are going to continue from where we stopped because we realize it's something that we need to add something else that comes out of retention or not retaining staff. And I still have my guest who was with us last week. I want to invite him to greet us. Welcome.
Thank you, Chuchu, for having me for the second week. My name is Obadiah Kiprono, HR practitioner, 12 years experience, and I'm happy to have this discussion today. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much for setting time to be with us. I never take it for granted. Thank you so much. Last week we talked about employee retention because we want to have employees serving us for a long time so that we can also, they can benefit as well as organization benefits. But we also notice that, or we realize that people cannot serve you forever. For one reason or another, people may decide to leave the organization because of maybe personal reasons or whatever comes their way, and it's time to leave. And so today we are going to look at employment termination. Because when it comes to retention, someone stays for you for 10 years and they want to go, we must terminate that employment, whether the employee terminates or the organization terminates. So we are going to look at that today. And maybe, how would you define termination of employment for any person to understand?
Okay. So employment first is a relationship. It is a formal relationship that is actually covered by the Kenyan statutes in terms of the Employment Act. Yeah. So in terms of employment, it's that an employee, an employer, has agreed to work together under certain terms. And if you look at the employment contract or what they have signed together, there are terms that defines the kind of relationship they are going to have, either the working hours, the working locations, the terms of payment, and of course there is the very critical clause on termination. And then termination then is the separation, actually, is the separation between the employee and the employer. It can be initiated by the employer, as well as it can be initiated by the employee, or the two also can sit down and agree. And say, yes, we've come a long way, or we worked for 2-3 years together, but I think going forward then, we should part ways. So basically termination then is that separation or cutting ties in terms of the relationship that we have as employee and employer, and everybody going their way.
Wow, beautiful. It's I'm listening to you talk about an agreement, but I'm also thinking that agreement, someone must initiate it. Mostly the employer there and say, now, okay, it's time, we go. Now tell me, what are the reasons that would make an employee, start with the employee, to decide to leave the organization?
One is, I think one good one is that if I get, or if the employee gets another job, of course, definitely then he puts in a resignation based on the terms of the employment. That's one of the reasons. The other reason is that probably if they feel like what they are doing probably is not meeting their expectation or their satisfaction, or there are some certain terms that the employer has not kept. So definitely then the employee can give in their resignation. There's some other times causes, like in case I'm not able to perform as an employee, of course if I'm sick or terminally ill, then definitely I might come in as an employee and say, yes, please, I think for the continuity of the business, please allow me to step aside or to proceed on and have someone who is able to perform their duties. And of course there's the other one now that we have no control, death. As an employee. If that happens, unfortunately, then there's that immediate separation.
That is true. You're right. But now that is employer. What can make me as an employer ask the employee to leave? Because I'm employee, I can decide I've gotten a job. Yes, let me go. I resign, I leave. Or I'm not comfortable, I leave in. Some people will tell you, I've just decided, I find these questions we ask during interviews. Why did you leave?
the other organization.
Or why do you want to leave? You know, because as you come for an interview and you're okay, somewhere, definitely you want to leave. Yeah. And sometimes people will give us very good reasons, but maybe growth and such. But sometimes there are, of course, some dissatisfaction that makes someone start looking out. But I can have an employee who is working, and I decide as an employer, I don't want to do, I want to terminate this relationship. So,
so most of the time as an employer, when we employ our staff, is because we want them to perform certain tasks. And one of the things that sometimes we let our employees go is because of one, performance. If we feel that based on the terms and conditions, they are not able to perform as expected, then we start to institute a separation process in terms of, because of performance issues. Of course, there's the other aspect which I've said in case of incapacitations or sickness. Okay, there's a procedure in that. The other aspect is the business is not doing well. We're not able to meet our bills. We're not able to pay salaries. Then we institute what we call redundancy, and which is a very, very sensitive issue as employees or as employer, that we need to ensure that we follow the right procedure to the latter when doing the redundancy process. So and of course, separation, this is a relationship.
It's a relationship.
This is a relationship. As much as I'm working for you, you're paying me my salaries. There's the other human side also. So the separation process or the termination process need to be carried out in a humane way from whichever side the other person initiates. If I'm the employer, I should follow the right procedure. If I'm supposed to give to give notice. Yes, we should be able to give notice. We should be able to have those discussions with the staff around why are we having this termination. And if you look at the Employment Act, there's actually quite a number of chapters that have been given in terms of termination. I think from the 35 going downwards to around 46 around employee termination. As employee also, when you're serving notice or when you want to resign or want to terminate, it is important to consider that this is a business or this is an organization. As in paying your bills, you don't just wake up one day and say, I'm going. It is important that as much as it is in the contract, it's good to approach it in a humane manner. In a manner that you don't leave your other staff in a place that they are not able to perform their duties because you've just abruptly cut that relationship.
You're right. And actually I've come to realize that exit all when it comes to separation is such a very important thing even to the employee. And employees need to take it seriously. It's not that because I've gotten a job, I don't care. Like in this today morning, I just got someone telling me, you know, this person left. And so I asked, oh, did they give notice? I said, no, he got a job in Nakuru. So what about the notice? You know, those are the mistakes that people make. And they forget that it's also giving another picture about yourself. Because as a HR, the moment I ask you, when can you report, you say immediately. I always ask someone, okay, are you not working? I am. How do you leave the other person? 2 days, immediately I know this is the wrong person to hire.
Red flag. It's a red flag.
It's a red flag. Because you leave me the same. So there are mistakes that people make when it comes, employees make when it comes to leaving to the job. They don't care. And there's a contract. There's an agreement. They still don't care about it. So what other mistakes do we make when it comes to employees on leaving?
So I think, as you've mentioned about the giving of notice, it is important also that if there's an aspect, the process of handover, just ensuring that you do your proper handover. It is good that you put down what needs to be handed over, what you've been doing, what is pending, and have a discussion with your manager and on the aspects of what you need to hand over. In case also they need your support while you're out there. It is good to give them your contact.
You're right.
Just in case they are stuck. Sometimes a client that has been dealing with you comes back, to 1 month down the line or 2 months down the line, just to ask something that you had a discussion with. So it is important also to to live well. Leave out your contacts,
Yes.
reach out whenever they need. Of course, for a certain period of time,
Yes.
probably 1 month, 2 months, it won't hurt if you give.
It doesn't hurt.
Yeah. So I think that is very, very critical.
And maybe to add there,
Yeah.
you know what happens when people give notice?
Yeah.
They tend to relax. They don't want to do their jobs. Yet, notice period doesn't mean that you are gone. You're still within the organization. Some people start getting absent. They don't come. They start behaving differently because they are leaving. Those are mistakes that people make. And I think people should respect the leaving process.
Yeah.
Your notice for 1 month, for example, work as if you are still working with us.
Yeah.
And you see also people should respect the contract, because sometimes I find that employees are not keen on that contractual bit, which happens also. Some employers fail too. But you find employees, they don't take it seriously that if it's 1 month or 1 month pay in lieu of notice,
yeah.
so someone would feel like, okay, I will not go, but then you're like, I'm going to deduct your 1 month. They feel how and why? You take them back to their contract. Did you understand this? Yes. So that is what exactly we are going to do. And for us to pay you this month, then you still have to work. It's not that it's a notice for you to sleep, to come late.
Yeah.
There's laxity that comes in during serving notice,
Yeah.
which is not really good.
Yeah. And just to reiterate on that, in terms of actually paying in lieu of notice,
Yes.
I think for me, what I always encourage the staff is that
Yes.
let that be the last option.
Yes.
Yeah. Because this is a business that is running.
Yes.
It needs you as they organize your replacement.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, you can. The law provides that you pay in lieu.
Yes.
But it's important because your payment will not
Yes.
do that work.
That
will not
is
do
it.
that job. Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
Very
Very critical.
Very critical.
Yeah.
And I think that is a very good point. Yeah. Don't just assume because we'll take money, it's fine. Even some people tell you, take the money, it's fine. You know. Sorry. And I think that is very, very critical. People need to appreciate that. Also, that personal responsibility. You've been in this organization for whichever time. Why do you want to live badly? You know, why don't you want to live well? You've been there. You've been benefiting from it. You've given services. What changes that come in because you're leaving? I think that is not right.
Yeah, I think what you're basically saying is we should not burn bridges.
Yes.
At all times, because it's also a small world.
Yes.
Yeah, the same director you are leaving today will come to the same organization in future and finds you there. Remember the kind of relationship you're going to have. So we should not burn bridges at all times.
Yes.
Yes, and there's also the aspect of reference check.
Yes.
Some organization will take you in.
Yes.
They'll do a reference check probably after 2 or 3 months just to follow
before
on.
confirmation.
Yeah, for confirmations, just to be sure. And that's why when they give you an offer letter, they say, yes, this offer letter or the contract will be subject to successful background check, which some organizations have 2 to 3 stages of background check.
You're right.
Yeah, so that is very, very critical. For employers, in terms of termination, I think what I would want to encourage them is when terminating, let's be humane as possible.
Okay, fine. We're going to take a short break and then we're going to come back. So we're talking about something very sensitive to you, termination of employment. It doesn't matter where you work, be it at home, be it in a shop, be it in a big organization. Please, can we do it right? We are taking a short break. We'll be right back. My name is Beatrice Chuchu.